Welcome to Catherine's Flavours of the World. I want to celebrate all things cheese. You know, as you travel through Europe on your Viking river cruise, you're going to see great architecture, learn great history. But most importantly for me, you're going to taste fabulous ingredients, in particular cheese, which is very regional. And of course, you can enjoy it with a glass of wine, but I want to share with you some delicious cheese recipes. Who doesn't love a blue cheese? And I have for you a delicious Irish blue cheese, which actually is a goat's cheese. And I want to make a gnocchi dish, which is with Irish potatoes. So you can see there's a lot of Irish coming in here. A little bit of pancetta, Irish of course. And we're going to make a beautiful Irish blue cheese sauce. Let's get cracking. First of all, we have to cook the potatoes. So in our potatoes go into the saucepan. I don't even peel them because I'm going to boil them in the skin. And then we get our hob on. And we can just cover the potatoes in water. That water is going to come to the boil, and I'm going to leave the potatoes simmering, and when I can just about push the tip of a knife right into the centre of the potatoes, they will be ready for mashing to make my gnocchi. So the potatoes are just ready. Now the fun begins. Peeling hot potatoes. So let's get them out first. They're easier to peel when they're warm. I'm not saying scalding hot, but once they go cold again, it's harder to get the peel off. And the great thing about boiling potatoes in their skins is you don't waste as much. Plus, you can boil them in the water. If you want to peel potatoes and make gnocchi with them, you'll need to steam the peeled potatoes because otherwise too much water is going to get in. So here we go. Off we go, let's peel. See, look, the skin just comes off. Much easier. But do be careful because they are hot. The other thing is we do want these to be reasonably warm in order to mash them finely. These are a beautiful Irish potato, by the way. The type is called navan. It's a nice floury potato, which is exactly what you need to make gnocchi. Now, there we go. Now you can bring out your masher if you want, but I have the gadget of the century. This is a potato ricer. I love this. This helps you get the smoothest, finest mashed potato. And you simply just pop your spud in, called spuds here in Ireland, pop your spud in like this, press down the lever, it's like a giant garlic press, and push the potato through. Look at this. Look at that. And try and keep it in the bowl. I love this ricer. Now, next part, just pop that aside, hide my washing up. We need egg. So just crack your egg. Give it a little whisk. And in goes the egg. Parmesan, another delicious European cheese, salt and pepper. Potatoes love salt, don't be shy. I'm going with black pepper. Purist might put white pepper in, but I just love the spice of the black pepper. And flour. And give that a good mix. That's just plain flour. The egg is what's going to bind this. The flour dries out the potato and the egg binds it because this needs to be turned into a dough to roll out and to shape into our gnocchi. And this is your dough. Now this goes out onto your surface here. We'll flour the surface, roll it out and shape. it's lovely and soft. Okay, now roll it. And I'm just going to cut this in half because we're going to roll this into like a skinny sausage. So I can move the cheese for a minute. Flour is going to be your friend because the potato can be a little sticky, but you don't want to overflour it either. So here's our dough, and you simply just get 2 hands like this, shape it, and roll out. Pull it a little bit and then roll. Keep pulling and rolling. It's cooled a little bit now, easier to handle. There we go. I love homemade gnocchi. Why wouldn't I? Sure, being from Ireland, there's potato in it. Oh, that's lovely. The lovely thing about gnocchi is you can have it with so many different sauces. Like, it's really nice just with a simple tomato sauce, but it takes to cheese really well. You know, you've got that floury dough with a lovely creamy cheese sauce. Oh, it's nothing like it. Okay, now if it's catching, a little bit of flour underneath, like this, roll it, and use your scraper. There we go. Now, next, cut and shape. So the easiest thing I find, you can use a knife, but I find it's much easier just to use like one of these little scrapers. You can just cut your little dough like this. And if you wanted to, you could simply just cook them like this. Make your life easy. But let's have a look at how you would shape them traditionally. If this gets caught, just a little bit of flour again, just because the starchiness in the potato can cause a little stickiness. I hope the measuring police aren't out to check that I've done them all evenly, because they're not all that even. Now, let's go with the last one. Oh my goodness, I'm getting that lovely aroma from the blue cheese here beside me. For a European-inspired dish with a beautiful blue cheese, which is Irish, and the gnocchi, crazy how Irish this dish has become with our potato and our gorgeous local blue cheese. Now, a little bit of flour. And so the shaping of these is really easy. Like I say, you can cook them straight like this. And to be honest, as a family meal, that's exactly how I would do it. But you can just simply get a fork and just press the fork in and make a little indentation. And it makes them a little bit prettier. And also, that indentation really helps catch the sauce when you're serving them. For our Irish blue cheese sauce, of course we have to have bacon. So we get our hob on, just a little bit of oil. So we start with our bacon. The trick to getting crispy bacon is to let it cook on one side and then start tossing it, because then at least the meat has had a chance to caramelize on one side, and that's what's going to give you that lovely crispy bacon, but also that really beautiful caramelized flavor. Now we can give this a little stir. I wish you were here. The smell of this cooking is just so gorgeous. Look at that now. Gorgeous. That bacon is perfect now, so let's whip it out. Trying to leave some of the oil behind and some of the bacon fat for the next part of the recipe. Fabulous. Now, a little bit of butter goes in. We melt that down, and the next ingredient are leeks. The leeks are going to bring a sweetness and a beautiful base flavour to this. You can go the leeks into the butter, and of course every time we use butter in Ireland, it's salted butter, always. Give those leeks a nice stir. We want them softened. So we're going to turn the heat down because we don't want the butter to burn. Because this is not going to be a dark sauce. So let's just leave the leeks just simmering on low, I'd say about 5 minutes, and these will be lovely and sweet and soft. And then we can get on with making the rest of our gorgeous blue cheese sauce. Now that the leeks are soft, it's time for the vino. So white wine goes in. You can turn the gas up for this now. In goes your white wine. You want to cook off the alcohol a little bit because it's not so nice having kind of the raw flavour of wine in a cooked dish. So just bring it to the boil and let the alcohol cook off, and then you'll have a beautiful, deeper wine flavour without the alcohol bite. It's like getting the acidity out of it, really. Okay, now a bit of salt and pepper can go in. I'm conscious not to put too much salt in because my bacon has salt in it and my blue cheese also. But let's get some in now. Now that's looking good. We can pop our bacon back in. And then our cream. And make sure we get it all in there. Don't want to waste any of that. So now we just bring that to the boil, and then we have our beautiful blue cheese here, which is a goat's cheese. You can use whatever blue cheese you fancy. You'll see plenty of blue cheeses as you travel around Europe with Viking. You'll get a chance to taste lots of them. So pick your favourite. And then we're going to crumble the blue cheese in and just let it melt in. And I always keep a little bit back as well, just to put on the top when I'm serving. Look at that. So nice. I mean, the depth of flavour that this is bringing to the sauce is unreal. And as the cheese melts, it's going to thicken the sauce also. Crucial now, and a perk of the job for me, is the taste test. So I want to taste this just to make sure I've got my seasoning correct. Oh my goodness, that's so creamy with just the light bite of the blue cheese, but it needs a little bit more salt, which I'm surprised at now. I thought with my bacon I mightn't have needed so much salt, but no, it definitely needs the salt. And a little bit of pepper. Now, for the gnocchi, you need boiling salted water. So we have it just coming to the boil now. Be generous with the salt. And oil. Oil prevents it sticking together. So a nice bit of oil goes in. And these cook really quickly. You pop them in, when they float, they're done. So let's go. I better move quickly if that's the case. Great. Let's give it a stir. We don't want them sticking together. Remember this potato in here, starchy potato, can stick together. So give it a stir just to make sure they separate. That's lovely. And we'll just wait for them to rise to the surface. For colour, I'm going to add in just the tiniest bit of spinach. I mean, spinach wilts down to nothing anyway. But let's just chop it up a little bit. So you get your knife. That's lovely. And that can go back into our sauce. Give that a stir in. See, just that little pop of green just works really nicely here. And this water is really valuable because if your sauce thickens too much while you're waiting on this to cook, because this is on a simmer, you can just put a spoonful of this water into the sauce and it loosens it, and you've still got that olive oil flavour, you've got the bit of saltiness in the sauce, and of course you have that little bit of starch from the potato. Right, here we go. Can you see that? They're all coming up now. So we can just start taking them out as they're cooked, and in they go in here. I love this part. There seems to be a lot more coming out here than I put in. They expand a little bit as well when they cook. They puff up because they take in a little bit of the cooking water. It's a very hearty dish. Okay, that's grand. Now we'll go with a little spoon of the water. That should do it. Let's see how we get on. Oh my goodness, the smell is gorgeous. The blue cheese, I love the smell of blue cheese when it's cooking. It just draws you in. Look at this. Here's the most European meal of them all, with a great Irish twist. Now, that's it, ready to serve. Delicious. Rich, indulgent. Who wouldn't love this? This is our gnocchi with Irish blue cheese and pancetta. This will keep you going for sure. For garnish, I'm just putting a little bit of what I call rocket, also known as arugula, or rucola. There we go. Look at that. Really nice for colour. And then I'm delighted to be able to use this beautiful Irish blue cheese. You know, in France, they say there's a cheese for every day of the year. In Ireland, we have 500 cheeses, so there's almost 2 cheeses for every day of the year. And we have a wonderful history of cheese making here in Ireland. It goes all the way back to the Cady fields in the west of Ireland, 6,000 years ago. I really hope you get to try this recipe at home. This is our gnocchi with Irish blue cheese and pancetta. And as you travel around Europe with Viking, you'll get to try the most gorgeous cheeses. And when you're in Ireland with Viking, make sure you come into Dublin and come down to me in Ballyknock Cookery School. I'm one of your excursions. There's a wealth of delicious cheeses in Europe, but one country that always inspires me is the Netherlands. The Dutch have great dairy product and they're fantastic at making cheeses. So I chose, for this recipe, a beautiful Dutch cheese. We call it gouda. The Dutch pronounce it gouda. And here in Ireland, we've somehow merged it and we call this gouda. So it probably hurts any Dutch person's ears to hear an Irish person call it gouda. But for the purpose of today, I'm going to keep calling it what I know it as, gouda. Because I am making a wreath with ham and this beautiful cheese. And I think it sounds easier to say ham and gouda pastry wreath as opposed to ham and gouda pastry wreath. I think you understand where I'm coming from. So now, to make this wreath, and this is an all year round recipe, it's a good idea to make a template for your puff pastry, just so that you can shape it properly. And I have the instructions in the recipe exactly how to do this. So I'm just laying my template down here and I'm simply just gonna trace along the lines. Now, I was never very good at art at school, so my lines might not be straight, but by the time it's baked, nobody's gonna know. So just follow around our circle here. And this is just a store-bought puff pastry. This is something I think that would be gorgeous if you're having friends over, you're looking to serve up a nice appetizer to impress everybody. It's also incredibly nice as lunch served with a salad alongside. Okay, we'll use them later. So now I've made little incisions here, so I'm just going to cut in along here. Nice and carefully, we want to get this right. Now, that should do it. Lift this up, and now you can see exactly what my game plan is. So what I've done is I've literally Just cut little incisions. This is how easy this gets. We're going to make a delicious filling. Put the filling around here, and then we're just going to wrap the pastry back over the filling. So now, let's put this aside, and we'll start on the filling. I love some home-cooked ham. It's always a winner for me. So there's a nice bit of ham in here because we want this to be substantial. So this is already diced. I simply boiled the ham in water, and when the knife went through it, it was done. I usually allow about 20 minutes per pound for the ham to cook. So there's our ham gone in. I've already diced up some gouda, or gouda, and here it is, in it goes. Want a little bit of a bite in here, so I'm going to go in with my red onions, sun-dried tomatoes for a bit of saltiness and for colour. Now, next two ingredients, cream cheese and some cold bechamel sauce. So that's just a white sauce. That gives you a creamy finish so that when you slice into this, everything holds together nicely. The sauce binds it. Let's get our herbs in. A little bit of parsley, some chives, we're blessed here in our cookery school in County Wicklow because we've got the most gorgeous herb garden right outside here. So I can just step out and pick any herbs I want. So of course the parsley and the herbs are from the garden here. But what I wanted to say was you can change up the herbs as you like yourself. This works really nice with all sorts of herbs, even a little bit of rosemary in there. Probably not sage. I think sage is quite distinctive. But even tarragon if you like that nice anise flavour. So give this a good mix. I'm going to just put in a little pinch of pepper here. I'm not going to put salt in. I've salt in the sun-dried tomatoes, in the ham and in the cheese. So I think it's seasoned enough. Okay, time to assemble. This recipe is a handy little number for you, I have to say. I think you might recreate it. The oven's already on. So it's at 210 Celsius, 410 Fahrenheit, and that's a fan oven. Now let's get this assembled. So now we'll get our filling and just carefully place it around the edge. You can already see the benefit of using the cream cheese and the bechamel. It's all holding together nicely. So you see how I've left this rim around the edge? What you're going to do is you're just going to push that rim up. Just lift it carefully off your paper and push it up. Okay, when we're sure we've got it intact, then we start pulling the centre out. Now, I find it handy to get your knife in here at this point, just to be sure you're lifting out each little segment. I'm sure you're wondering where I'm going with this, but honestly, this works a treat. Now you have your segment of pastry and you pull it back like that. You see? When this bakes, it's going to look glorious. When you're on your European river cruise with Viking, you'll have so many opportunities to taste so many delicious things, but the cheese will wow you for sure. No matter what country you're in, as you sail through, every European country has many different types of cheese specialities. But what's lovely about Europe is we do get a nice bit of rain and sunshine, particularly in Ireland, but around Europe as well. So the animals are outside quite a lot. So they're having the chance to take in the beautiful green grass. And that produces fantastic milk, which in turn is great cheese. Now, we have an egg wash here. And I'm just going to make sure that these are all sealed nicely with my egg wash, because I don't want them popping open in the oven. And as well, egg wash always gives a lovely colour when this is baked. I think this is going to be your next go-to for an appetizer. You imagine your friends coming around and you produce this. Be careful not to over egg it. You don't want it sticking either to the tray. Okay. That's the egg wash done. And just for an extra little bit of colour, I like sesame seeds on it, and it just sticks very nicely to the egg washed pastry. Sesame seeds always toast up so beautifully in the oven as well, don't they? So it gives a little bit of texture as well as an extra bit of flavour. So that is it now. This is ready for the oven. And in approximately 24 minutes, how precise am I today, this will be done. And then you just cool it down and serve it and enjoy it. So in she goes. Something smells delicious. Let's have a look. Oh yes. Look at this, bubbling to perfection. I am so happy with that. This is our ham and gouda wreath, but I need that to cool a little bit before I try and get it out onto my platter because, you know, it's going to be quite delicate. So let's think about our garnishing. Well, I have some arugula or rocket here, and then there's the parsley from our garden here, so I'm going to chop that up nicely. I always think fresh parsley is just great for flavour. Not only just for colour, but it brings something to the table. And we're really fond of curly parsley here in Ireland. Flat leaf you'll see quite a bit here, but it tends to be more Italian. But our curly parsley has a stronger flavour and I just love it. So you just get the back of your knife working your way through the parsley like this, you see. And now we want this fine. I don't want big chunks of parsley on such a beautiful piece. So, I mean, our wreath is almost like art. So we just chop here nice and finely, just scrape it together. Now, this is the anxious part for me. I have my serving plate. I need to get this circular, delicate piece of art onto this. So, these are my toys for today. I'm going to lever these in here and lift and over. Here we go. I mean, I just think this looks so pretty. Right, we've got to dress it up. So a little bit of rocket in the centre, like this. I always think is nice. Arugula, depending on where you live. Okay, the parsley that we harvested from the garden, pop that around. See, already that's given it a lovely edge. Just the pop of green on it. Love that. Okay. And then we harvested borage in the garden. I love borage. Borage is this beautiful star flower. It's so, so nice. And of course you can make borage oil. You can do lots, even borage pasta. But the flower itself is edible. And it is always gorgeous for garnishing. It's really, really nice in salads as well. So I'm just going to pop that in the centre like this. Bit of colour. I usually pull it off of the stalk. There we go. And I have a few more. No point in being shy. Now. Oh, sit steady there. And here it is, my ham and gouda, or gouda in Ireland, wreath. This is such a delicious appetizer. I hope you get to try it at home. But it's one of the many flavours that you will definitely enjoy as you cruise the rivers of Europe with Viking. Bon appetit, eet smakelijk, good appetit, buon appetito. Enjoy the flavours of Europe.